Thank you so much to our moderators and panel participants. We're going to ask you to remain in your seats for the next 10 minutes while we actually present the prize. But I'd like to ask you to join me in another round of applause. Thanks to Lema Bowie, Taboho Molebatsi, Sandra Hodge Benjamin, Patricia Steele, Audrey Thomas, Sakiko Fukuda Par, Tandabantu Nlapo, and Allison Tilley. Thank you so much. Some people are just joining us now, and we want to acknowledge again our thanks to the Governor and First Lady and to the President of the University of the Virgin Islands, David Hall. Thank you so much for all that you have done to make it possible for us to be here today to present this prize and have this fascinating panel discussion about issues that are relevant to all of us. As I think you can see, all of the panelists and all of the recipients are working in the trenches, fearlessly facing obstacles that women deal with every day and our communities deal with every day. And so you can see why out of some 70 nominations, these recipients were chosen this year for their outstanding contributions to women's human rights. Before we actually give them their gold pins and shake their hands and present them with the prize, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the company these recipients are keeping. The Foundation's prize program, which was established in the year 2000, now presents 5 annual $500,000 prizes in the fields of cosmology, genetics, neuroscience, justice, and women's rights. Each prize recognizes achievements and discoveries that produce fundamental shifts in human knowledge and culture. In August, the Cosmology Prize was presented to Wendy Friedman, Robert Kennicott, and Jeremy Mould. In September, the Justice Prize was presented to the European Roma Rights Center and Brian Stevenson. The Neuroscience Prize was presented earlier this month to Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbach, and Michael Young. And just last week, the Genetics Prize was presented to Janet Rowley at the 59th annual meeting of the American Society for Human Genetics. My husband is not able to be with us here today due to health reasons, but I'd like to acknowledge his founding vision and his leadership in establishing and funding these prizes. We award the Women's Rights Prize annually to honor courageous efforts anywhere in the world to help achieve gender equality. Past laureates of this prize are Yanar Mohammed, Sapana Pradhan Mala, and Nadera Shalub Kevorkian. Pinar Ilkarajan, Women for Women's Human Rights and the Coalition for Sexual and Bodily Rights. The Unión Nacional de Mujeres Guatemaltecas, Cecilia Medina Quiroga, and Sweatshop Watch. The Women's League of Burma and the Shan Women's Action Network. Our second prize went to Sakina Yakubi and the Afghan Institute of Learning, and Sakina is here with us today. The first prize went to Navanitham Pillay and Profam Twese Hamwe. And now to the presentation of the 2009 prize. A distinguished international board of advisors has guided the selection of this year's recipients. The members of this selection committee are Sakiko Fukuda Par, here with us today, Geeta Rao Gupta, Pinar Ilkarajan, Aqua Kwenyehe, Cecilia Medina Quiroga, Tandabantu Nlapo, who is also here with us today, and Sakina Yakubi, here with us. My husband Peter and I deeply appreciate the knowledge and the commitment and enthusiasm that these advisors bring to the judging process. And before I ask the recipients to come forward on the stage and receive the prize, I'd like to invite a distinguished member of our advisory board, Sakina, to come to the official prize citation and make a few brief remarks about the recipients. Sakina Yakubi, who is the founder and director of the Afghan Institute for Learning, is the second recipient of the Women's Rights Prize and a current board member. Sakina.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم 2009 Global Women's Rights Prize Citation. The 2009 Global Women's Rights Prize is proudly presented to Lema Roberto Gappe and the Women's Legal Center for two different but complementary kinds of activism. Lema Roberto Gupta of Liberia for helping to build peace on her homeland by mobilizing women in a resistance movement that was instrumental in finally bringing an end to the Liberian Civil War, and for continuing to promote women power in peace building, and the Women's Legal Center of South Africa for successfully challenging legal and cultural obstacles to women's rights through the courts, especially in the area of inheritance and gender-based violence, and empowering women with free legal advice and the impact of court judgments in their favor. I would like to say a few things about Lema. When I think of Lema, I think of her country, which was in civil war. When I think of Lema, I remember fearless, courageous, bravest woman. When I saw her, I know you are going to all watch the movie. But when I saw her in that movie, in her activity, I admire her courageousness because it wasn't an easy task for her. But she so badly wanted peace for good causes that she and the friend that she was with, they really brought the peace in a country that was impossible. And also through that movement, she bring a first lady president in that country. And I think that is fantastic. That is wonderful. I really encourage you to really clap for her. Thank you very much. With the women's legal right, I think that this is a wonderful organization because in the country, like there is civil war, there is violence, there is problem in the country, especially against women. If there is not a women's legal center to protect them, no matter how much the activism do their job, but there is not a framework, there is not a structure. So these women organization, women's legal right, they are really doing tremendous job. And I really admire you for your wonderful work that you establish the law and give the framework that it will back up the women in violence. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
So Lema Bowie, Allison Teboho, could you please come forward? Sorry. Can you get that? Yes. Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And may I remind you that tomorrow at the Antilles School is a film about the work of Lema Bowie. It's at 8 o'clock. It's in Prior Yallock Hall. And a part of the cost of the ticket goes to the Liberian Renaissance Fund. So we hope that all of you will join us tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Thank you again. This concludes our program. I didn't give you a chance to make Ladies and gentlemen, I made a big mistake. Our recipients are going to say just a few words each. Very brief. Sorry.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for this award. It comes at a time where women's discussions, where issues and discussions to end major challenges facing women globally are increasing. At the same time, hate crimes and blatant disrespect for women's human rights and dignity are also increasing in an appalling manner. This award renews my commitment and resolve to continue working for the cause of women in war situation, in peace situation, but living under conditions like war situation. I accept this award on behalf of the women of Liberia who have taught me to be strong and resilient in the face of evil. I dedicate this award to the women of Guinea-Conakry who on September 18, 2009 went out to protest the military government intent to stand democratic elections and were shot, killed, and brutally raped publicly. I dedicate this award to my friend and sister Abby Disney, who without her coming to bring our stories to light, we would never have been here, I would never have been here, and the recognition due the women of Liberia we may not have gotten. I dedicate this award to young girls around the world. With this, the future of the world is yours. Good can definitely overcome evil. Step up, step out, and do the right thing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor, Mrs. Gruber, the Foundation, honoured guests, we wish to thank you very much for this high honour which has been placed on the Women's Legal Centre. It's a prestigious award. We greatly appreciate the acknowledgement of the work of the Centre and the contribution made by the Foundation and the international community towards the ongoing struggle for gender equality in South Africa. Without this international endorsement and support, many of the cases which have been brought and which have made a tremendous impact on women's lives in South Africa would not have been possible. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Women's Legal Centre, the staff of the Centre and our clients, we would like to thank you very much.